Welcome to J is for Justice podcast. If live breaking news and following true crime is your thing, then please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you like what you see in my videos, please consider giving them a thumbs up. Good evening, Datset.
Hello.
Hey, good evening, chat. Welcome back for the third time today. Yes, Draw Latina
Hello,
is in the
everyone.
house. I'm so glad to see Draw Latina. Tonight I have Datset with me.
Yes.
And she's going to be schooling me on this case because I have not covered it.
I have been watching it since it broke.
I know. So I'm really glad that you could join me tonight. Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely, anytime.
Yes, I'm really grateful for y'all's work on getting these things together today. Special thanks to Shell.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you, Shell.
Yeah, awesome. You guys put this together. So, do you want to just give us a little background on who Codi is and like a little bit of what happened, and then we're going to watch the press conference.
Yes. So Codi is a 4-year-old little boy who went missing out of Hampton, Virginia, area of Buckrow Beach in that section. And his dad claims he hasn't been seen since a certain amount of time, but it just changed again within the last hour that it's been he hasn't been seen in 3 months.
3 months.
Yes. So they're still waiting on more information with that, but there's been quite a bit of evidence that says that he is not alive or in the home. So
Awful. Just another awful case.
Yes.
Of a missing child that has been under the radar for months. I mean, it's crazy, you know, like that case we talked about the other day, the little girl that was hidden by her mom every time authorities came around. 2 years, almost 3.
I know. It's insane that anybody could do that.
I know. It's really, really crazy.
Yes.
Cheryl. Hey, Cheryl. Cheryl said she just ordered herself a t-shirt.
Yes, I got my hoodie. What are we talking about?
What you talking about now? I got my yikes shirt on still. Mallory Young says COVID has done so much damage, these poor kids. I think COVID has really affected a lot of people with addiction and all kinds of stuff. I think anything bad kind of was like blown, you know, what do you say it, like accentuated?
Yeah, it blew up even more. It was easier to hide. It was so much easier to hide with things, and
yeah,
it's terrible.
It is. So with that being said, this press conference that we're going to watch first is where they are giving an update. We're going to kind of skip over the first one because this is more informative. It's kind of going to be like, you know, it's kind of senseless to watch the first one and then watch this one. So we're going to watch this, and this was held, God, it does not give me the dang date. I think it was 3 days ago. Could that be right? Or no?
Maybe a couple more days.
Okay.
So
within this week?
Yeah, it's been within this week.
Okay. So this is the latest press conference that has come out. And this says an update on the search weeks after he was reported missing. So this is going to be your most updated info here. So let me share my screen and then we'll watch this. And if at any point, Dad, said you want me to stop, you know, and you want to say something, just holler and I will holla.
All right. Sounds good.
Not to be mistaken for the holler, but feel free to go ahead and holler at me and I will, I'll pause it.
Okay.
Alrighty. Okay, hold up. I'm still getting the hang of this StreamYard. There we go. Look at that. Okay, so let me get... Welcome, Mallory Young. Thank you for joining, beautiful. Oh, did you hear that jet? Okay, let's make this full screen. This is the Hampton, Virginia police. Can you see that good? No?
Yeah, I see it fine.
How come it says click to exit full screen? Ow. How come it says click to exit? Can you see it when it's this big right now? Because I'm going to hit play.
I see it says click to exit.
Oh, shit. Okay. I guess I can't make it big like that.
I can see it perfectly fine.
Okay, well, it's going to stay like this then. Here we go.
I think we have no sound.
Of course we don't. It just wouldn't be complete if we did.
I know.
Would not be complete if it just went right. Okay, hold on. What the? Welcome to the jungle, Shirley. I don't have the little tick box that says share sound. That's what's weird. All right, let me open it up in Chrome. I guess I'm going to have to do that. I hate this StreamYard thing. I wish that I could find another service that I could have guests on that's not StreamYards.
I get it.
I've tried so many other ones, and they're all
I am over here
technical.
laughing so hard because we always have something.
I know, girl. I know. Okay, here we
Oh
go.
my
I think
goodness.
it's going to work now, guys.
Okay.
All right, let me share my screen again. You didn't miss nothing. All right, here we go.
Block of Ranelette Drive in reference to a missing juvenile who we all know.
I'm going to rewind just a second.
I can hear it too.
Okay. Yay. We're in biz.
Good afternoon. I'm Sergeant Williams with the Hampton Police Division's Public Information Office. I'm joined here today by Chief Talbot, Assistant Chief Gallup, Captain Coleman, Captain Price, Captain Scheck, and Captain Warren. On January 31st, 2022, at approximately 9:06 a.m., officers were called and responded to the 100 block of Ranelette Drive in reference to a missing juvenile, who we all know now as Codi Bigsby. Officers arrived on scene at 9:16 a.m., and 8 minutes later, multiple K-9 units arrived to assist. Within the hour, command staff and multiple detectives were already on scene. At 10:47 a.m., we formally requested the FBI to bring additional resources and technical support. At 11 a.m., the Hampton Police Division disseminated a press release and social media blast, which reached hundreds of thousands of people within our community. With the assistance of the local media, that reach extended well into the millions. By 11:30, the FBI arrived on scene, bringing additional agents as well as a plane to our aid. At 12:29, a reverse 911 call went out to residents and neighborhoods requesting information. By 1 p.m., officers had already searched the immediate surrounding areas of the apartment complex. Officers and detectives began canvassing every house while canine searches continued and drones were searching from the air. Additionally, Mr. Bigsby, Corey's father, had arrived at police headquarters and began speaking with investigators. In the coming days, the search would evolve into a massive coordinated effort with our federal, regional, and local partners to include citizen volunteers. Searches continued by land, air, and sea. Dive teams were deployed, and drone teams scanned over 900 acres of remote marsh, waterways, and woodlands. As our search was taking place, investigative and forensic personnel worked around the clock to gather and process evidence to speak to anyone that might have knowledge about Codi's whereabouts. On the evening of Thursday, February 3rd, Corey Bigsby was arrested and transported to lockup, where he was served with 7 charges for felony child neglect. On Friday, February 4th, our search efforts began to transition into an investigative phase, and the massive grid search came to a slow conclusion. Since that day, our goal to find Codi has not changed. Our search has not stopped. Investigators are continuing to process immense amounts of evidence and follow up with every possible lead. With that, Chief Talbot will now provide additional comments.
All right, good afternoon. I'm Mark Talbot. I'm the police chief for the Hampton Police Division. I'm going to begin this press conference like I started all of the press conferences with this case. I'm here on behalf of 4-year-old Codi Bigsby. It has been 14 heart-wrenching days since he was reported missing by his father, Corey Bigsby. Sergeant Williams did a great job laying out the timeline of events, and he did an excellent job laying out all the work that we've put into this investigation. I am extremely proud of the work that was done, not only by the Hampton Police Division, but by our partner agencies and by members of the public who have been out there every single day with us. For that, we are extremely grateful. You know, an investigation like this has a lot of moving parts. You've just heard that. One aspect of an investigation of this nature is that it is important that I keep in my mind all of the aspects of this investigation that ensure that it has the integrity that it needs to have. And that is primarily why I'm speaking to you today. This past Friday, in an effort to ensure that everything that we've done has been consistent with our best and our obligation, we reviewed video footage of some of the interviews involving Corey Bigsby. So Mr. Bigsby came to the Hampton Police Division, I'll remind you, on January 31st to assist with this investigation. He had his 3 small children with him. Around 2:30 that day, Mr. Bigsby sat for a formal interview with our detectives. The detective in that case began the conversation by reminding Mr. Bigsby that he was there voluntarily, he was not being detained by us, and that he had the right to an attorney if he chose to have an attorney with him. Mr. Bigsby decided to waive his rights at that time and to answer our questions. He continued to answer questions for several hours, and at some point it was suggested that we would like Mr. Bigsby to take a polygraph examination. Part of that polygraph examination that wasn't given by our agency, it was in fact given by a federal agency, involves again being reminded of his rights to an attorney, a right not to speak, a right not to incriminate himself. He received and he waived those rights, and he took the polygraph examination. Upon the conclusion of the polygraph examination, Mr. Bigsby resumed his interview with our detectives and our partner agencies. In the midst of this follow-up interview, there was a heated exchange between Mr. Bigsby and the lead detective in this case. The heated exchange came about when there was a discussion about the results of that polygraph exam. I won't discuss the result. I'll just say there was a heated back and forth. In the midst of this heated exchange, Mr. Bigsby made a statement that I believe was mishandled by the Hampton Police Division. He made a statement that indicated that he wanted to have legal counsel there with him. My assessment of his statement in that moment and a statement that he made several minutes later that was similar, expressing a desire for legal counsel, my assessment is that his desires should have been honored. They weren't. Ultimately, a decision like this that surrounds what we will do, what the court system will do in response to this episode is for the Commonwealth Attorney, is for Anton Bell. But we have our own obligation here. We didn't meet it, frankly. We have our own obligation to maintain the highest standards of conduct to make sure that we're not skirting any lines that appear to be inappropriate or are questionable. We also have a standard that involves every member in this organization providing clear and concise and accurate information all the way up the chain of command so that we can make the best decisions as it relates to any investigation, in particular when it comes to seeking justice for a 4-year-old child. To give you a sense of the timing of what occurred, the problematic behavior that was brought to my attention was brought to me late in the afternoon this past Friday. As soon as we discovered this, we ordered the entire command staff into the police station to do a full audit of all of the video recordings of our interactions with Mr. Bigsby. That occurred throughout the weekend. Most of us were here all weekend completing that. Our analysis, our audit of that video left us in a much better place in terms of understanding what happened. It also allows us to be reassured and allows me to reassure the public that the charges that were filed against Mr. Bigsby are appropriate. Mr. Bigsby is the only person that we've found evidence against to indicate we need to continue to pay attention to him in order to find out where Codi Bigsby might be and what may have happened to him. Nothing that occurred has shaken my confidence surrounding whether or not we've paid attention to the right person or whether or not we've missed some key detail. We have not. Our investigation is sound. Moving forward, we will continue to look at all the evidence. Many of you have reported some of the work that we did this weekend. We are searching different areas of the city. We are exploring the forensic evidence even further. We're continuing to take this investigation wherever the facts are going to take us. I deeply regret what I found out on Friday. Make no mistake about it. I am extremely disappointed with not only having to be the distraction that I spoke of previously, but I'm disappointed that we have done anything that may have slowed us down on our quest to bring justice to this child. That will be handled appropriately. Anybody who didn't live up to the standards that are important to us will be held accountable. And we will make sure that we continue to work as hard as we possibly can to bring more facts forward in this case and ultimately bring some degree of justice. With that, I will take your questions.
Has the lead detective been dismissed from the case?
We have a new leadership team and a new lead detective that we are going to have take over this case.
Is he on any type of leave? He or she? I don't know.
The detective has been relieved of duty at this point.
Okay, I want to pause right there because I have a question.
And I have answers.
Okay, great. Okay, so he just admitted that they bungled, right?
Yes.
Okay.
He admitted that they dropped the ball.
Okay, so they dropped the ball in what way? Besides him asking for an attorney twice, right?
Yes.
And they refused it?
Pretty much. So a lawyer, his sister hired a lawyer, and he went there and they refused to let him know that a lawyer was out there for him. And then, yes. And then he proceeded apparently on 2 different occasions to ask for a lawyer in some type of way or gestured that he needed a lawyer. And whoever the detective was brushed it off as that wasn't what he asked for and let it go.
Wow. Wow. But he's owning it, at least, like Draw said.
Yep.
Northport didn't ever own their mistakes.
No. So when this whole thing started, I wasn't too sure about him because he seemed like a really cocky chief to me. Like,
I know
so
what you're
when
saying, yeah.
he just gave off that energy during his other press conferences and things like that. But I do give him a lot of props for coming on there and owning up to what he did.
Yeah, I mean, I
And
think if I
it
would have
wasn't
been,
even him, but the PD themselves did.
yeah, I feel like if I had watched this without you, like, giving me the background, that I would have thought that he was kind of rather cocky.
Oh, yes.
But what officer really isn't? I mean, no offense, but I mean, you
You're
you
right.
have to have a degree of cockiness about you though to do their job, I think.
Yep.
Hey, Frankie. All right, so we'll continue, but that was just I mean, that is like the stupidest mistake that you can
Absolutely.
make. I mean, that mistake, like someone said in chat, just should not happen.
No, absolutely not. It should have never happened.
Yeah, and it just so happened in a missing child case, so they've really got
Mm-hmm.
some mud on their face.
Oh, they do, and they have to come back hard on this one.
Right.
So,
All right, here we go.
Either the existing charges or future charges against Mr. Bigsby?
The existing charges are sound, and they are based on evidence that was obtained in the first hours of our interactions with Mr. Bigsby. I've been in contact with the Commonwealth attorney extensively, including right before I walked into this room. I believe that he will say more about that. We feel confident that those charges are appropriate and will stand.
At an initial press conference, you went on record and said that he was there completely voluntarily. So at that point, had you not looked at any of the interrogation video?
That is correct. Just to be clear, reviewing nearly 100 hours of video was a Herculean task that required more than a dozen staff members who spent
Herculean. 100 hours. I want to see that interrogation. Have they released anything on that? Probably not. You're muted.
I didn't hear what you said.
No, I said over 100 hours of video. I said,
Oh, yeah.
He said it was Herculean. It took, I don't know how he worded it, but he said it was Herculean because it took so many So we
It
need
took a
men to do
long
it.
time. Yeah.
Yeah. Have they released any clips of
No,
that? No, not
nope,
yet.
not yet. I've been waiting.
It'll be interesting. It'll
I
be
can't wait to
interesting.
see it.
Yeah, me either. Okay.
Most of their weekend here. It was a big effort. It is just not viable to routinely view every second of videotape. It's not viable. But that's not an excuse for anything. My comments that I made previously were made based on, frankly, bad information. And that just can't happen. And we will do everything that we need to do to make sure it doesn't happen again.
So since he was the lead detective, had he worked on any other high-profile missing cases like this, where he would have been put in similar situations and then it did act, appropriately?
Again, a full internal affairs investigation will be conducted. Just like we paid attention to the facts in assessing Corey Bigsby's relationship to what happened here, we need to look at the facts to see exactly how everybody's behavior has impacted this investigation. It is too soon to say whether or not the mistakes that were made were intentional, or if there is simply a different legal interpretation that is causing this dismay and my unhappiness, frankly. We have a lot of work to do to figure out exactly what occurred, and until we do that work, we're not going to be able to say whether or not this could impact other cases. But that is certainly something that I'm tracking and we need to pay attention to.
Was he still at the police station willingly up until he was arrested?
So the question of whether or not he was here willingly ultimately seems like a simple question to answer yes or no. But the way that our criminal justice system works, it happens to be a question for the Commonwealth attorney to answer. And I would prefer to allow him to make that assessment.
In court documents, it said that he had confessed to police about leaving the children home alone. That's where those child neglect charges came from. Did he confess that before or after he asked for legal counsel?
Before.
Could you confirm what date was it that he had the polygraph and when did that request happen for legal counsel?
The polygraph examination occurred somewhere after 10 p.m. on January 31st. He made the request that I've alluded to where he mentions an attorney on February 1st, somewhere after 4 o'clock in the morning.
We were told family got involved and kind of, asked for an attorney ahead of time. Can you speak to when that happened compared to when he actually asked for one himself?
I can't. I don't know.
Okay, I have to agree with Amber Nix here that why are they so focused on the attorney thing? I mean, yes, it's a big deal, but furthermore, where's Codi?
I agree.
Kind of weird, isn't it?
They've shifted everything on their dad and everything. Like, where's Codi?
Yeah, like I'm waiting for them to talk about this little boy.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to just pop on and say that it bothers me. It bothers me.
Precisely when the family got involved, I can tell you that Mr. Bigsby's, just to restate, Mr. Bigsby's request came around 4:13 in the morning on February 1st, and again at around 4:20 on February 1st.
You mentioned that he was there with his 3 children. Do they play a role in this at all? I mean, if they were there with him, and I know you guys probably try and ask them some questions, where did they stand with this then?
I'd rather not comment on our interactions with his children, other than I'd like to repeat what I said previously, that they're doing well right now. And I'd like to leave it at that.
As far as the search from now into the future, I've heard from different search parties, volunteers in the community that are helping. They want to know, are their efforts worth it? I mean, they want to search for him, but they don't even know if they're searching in the right area. Should they keep going if they're volunteering, or what do you have to say to that?
Keep going. Keep going. This is all of our obligation. We're all here for Codi Bigsby. I don't know if those efforts will be fruitful, but what do? Do you sit and do nothing? I don't think so. I think that we all have to consider what we might be able to do that's helpful. I believe that the number of people that have decided on their own to traipse about in the woods and dig through marshes and all these other things, God bless them. Keep going.
Can you speak to a jacket that was found, a toddler?
Can I cut in a moment?
Saturday? Do you all know if that is tied to Codi's case or if it was just a random jacket?
Okay, now I know where the audience jumps out of their
We are
skin.
investigating.
Holy fuck. Whoa.
Whoa,
Because
I'm
this video
sorry.
is so loud. Oh my God, that scared the living
I'm
bejesus out of me.
so sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm being really quiet too.
No, it's not you. It's because they're so low that when we cut in, it's like
Oh,
now
oh my goodness. I'm
Bernadette,
so sorry.
Bernadette's like, now you know where I'm coming from, girl.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay, what'd you want to cut in on?
Okay, the fact that he said for the community to keep going, I have a problem with that.
Okay.
I feel like the PD needs to be out there just as hard as that community is going, because that community is going above and beyond what could be expected from them.
I'm sorry. I was just reading what Shell said. She said, hey, at least she's not muted. Well, okay. So, yeah, let's talk about that. What have the search efforts been?
The search efforts have been amazing on the community side of this. They have been going through the marsh, they've been going through the beach areas, the woods, they're going door to door to people's houses, and you don't see the PD doing it.
Okay. So
But
take
they're
me
like,
back to
community,
when
keep going.
okay, so take me back to when they first found out that Codi was missing.
Okay,
Did the
so
police do like an extensive search right off the bat, or what happened?
they did just within the search of like the house, legitimately just the house, because they keep saying the evidence only points to the house. I feel like they need to do more than just that, because the first day they did have cadaver dogs out there, and I watched it hit live. I was watching somebody do it on their live that was out there on their own time, just being part of the community to help out,
Uh-huh.
that was videotaping that the canine hit on this U-Haul truck. So if it hit on this U-Haul truck, why aren't you looking further than the house?
Where was the U-Haul truck?
The U-Haul truck was in the parking lot. I believe it was like diagonal to the apartment.
Weird. So then did the police kind of scale back their searching, and then the
Yeah, and then
community just kept going?
the community picked up where they scaled back and kept going and went above that.
Wow. So then they came out and said, we kind of fumbled this up. And
Yeah,
is the community still going hard at like now? Are they still?
they're still going hard.
They
Yes.
are. Okay.
Yes, there's a Facebook page. It's got over 25,000 or 2,500 people in it,
Wow.
and it's going strong. And every day there's new updates and things like that. And it's the Codi Bigsby Hampton, Virginia missing page.
On Facebook?
Yes, on Facebook. And there's constant updates and people constantly putting footage up there of the places that they've searched and things like that. Like they're going out and doing it on their own. And PD is just sitting behind a desk.
Has the FBI stepped in? Maybe we'll get to that, right?
I'm not too sure about that one. I have to look into that a little bit
I thought
more.
I saw FBI on one of the flyers, but I don't know if
I thought I saw it too on the billboard, but I wasn't too sure if that's the case. It's only through the billboard that I know of.
Cheryl T has a good question. How large is this police department? Do you know?
Hampton is a pretty large area.
It is. Okay.
Yes, I used to live over that area. I actually grew up from middle school all the way through my teens and things like that. So
So
it
what
kind of
would
hits
you
home for me.
yeah, that makes sense. So, and to see it botched like this. So,
Yes.
like what size city would you compare it to?
Mm,
Like in Orlando or more like a
more like a Destin.
okay.
eh,
So it's on the smaller side though,
on the smaller side, but not as big.
but not like Hawkins County small.
No, not Hawkins County.
Okay.
Like they have different counties within the Hampton area.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So let's continue to the did they blah, blah, blah. Do they have this guy in custody right now then?
Yes, they still have him
Okay.
in custody.
Okay.
Um,
I
he
do
has,
feel though, while the public is searching, I do feel they've got to be interrogating this guy. I just,
oh yes, I feel like they've got to be.
yeah, they've got to be. Okay, so this now I found the date. It was Valentine's Day. This
Okay.
this came out on. Okay, all right. So let's keep going.
Okay.
Do you have any more information about the last time Cody was confirmed to be seen? Has that been confirmed when he was last seen?
I don't have information that I believe I can rely upon to answer that question.
Is your team currently investigating any remains being found in the city right now?
Yes,
Do you have any reason to believe they could be Cody's?
I do not have any reason to believe they could be Cody's, no.
What is your understanding of why Corey Bigsby was denied legal counsel initially?
That has to be investigated. I do not know. I do not have a good answer to that question. I don't have an answer that I'm confident in. At some point, I'll need to be confident, and I'll need to understand that much better than I do now.
Do you feel like this could build a distrust between the department, the case, and the community?
Yes, it could, and I'm here to avoid that and to talk openly about what happened and to transparently lay out what occurred. This is something that we uncovered. This was not something that was exposed. We did our own audit, we looked at our own conduct, and we've decided we didn't meet the standard that we need to adhere to. It is sad but true. There's no insurance policy against the human condition. There are several hundred people in this organization. Many of them have been involved in one aspect or another in the investigation. And when you have an investigation of this magnitude, sooner or later you're going to run into something that isn't what you wanted it to be. That's what we have now. That's not to say that you're always going to find what you would deem to be misconduct, but my experience has been that this is a very difficult business, and these types of things are possible.
So when you think about an interrogation between the lead detective and Bigsby, were there others watching that interrogation, maybe through video or like, a window of some sort that saw it? And so does that mean, and if so, are other officers also being investigated and maybe placed on leave or maybe dismissed as well?
There are a number of people in my organization that need to be called to account for the answers to those questions. We do have policies and systems in place that should have allowed us to do better than we did. We also, frankly, had a case here in which an experienced detective is doing his job, has done great work throughout his career, and to some degree, you want to be able to rely upon that. All that broke down somehow, and we need to spend some time figuring out how it broke down, why it broke down, and putting things in place so that it doesn't happen again.
How long has that lead detective been with the department?
11 years, approximately.
And to clarify, he's no longer a member?
No, I did not say that.
Okay. So he's off the case, but he's still with the department. Can you confirm explain that, please?
I'd like to leave it at that.
He doesn't want to talk
You can't
about
say
that.
if he's placed on like a paid leave, non-paid leave.
I can say that he is on paid leave.
Was there anything specific that prompted the review for evidence, or was it just ensuring that you didn't miss anything?
A lot of, we are not oblivious to the narrative that has been driven around about our conduct in this case. We pay attention. You don't have to walk up to the Hampton Police Division with a formal complaint for us to pay attention to you. We heard members of the public who expressed concerns. That was one of the factors that resulted in us deciding to look deeply into what we did. When we looked, we didn't like what we found, and that's why we're here.
Okay, can you just reiterate the next steps? I know you mentioned like an overall kind of investigation. Who's going to lead that? Is that going to come from outside the department, within the department?
We are fully capable of continuing forward with this investigation. What we are doing moving forward is putting together a fresh set of eyes and ears and looking again at every step that we've taken moving forward.
So will areas that will be searched from now on, will that be based on evidence that indicates that Codi may be in that area?
Yes. Now, we could certainly come across evidence. Public who's out and about could, like just occurred over this weekend, could say something or do something that causes us to go back to where we've already been or to search new ground. That's all still in play.
Other than the jacket, can you comment on if anything else was found over the weekend near that?
No, I don't have additional information about that.
I know you mentioned Anton Bell speaking to some of the court things, but just on a general perspective, is there any chance that these neglect charges could be dropped and he could be free to go out of prison because of the mistakes that your lead detective made?
There's no reasonable belief that I have that would be the case. In fact, we've looked, let's make no mistake about it. The most important thing here as it relates to that question is Mr. Bigsby in jail appropriately based on facts and evidence that we've obtained lawfully? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no question about that I have at this point. As a matter of fact, based on the thorough audit that we've done, I'm more certain than I was when I spoke about it previously. He's in
I do have to
the
agree
jail
with
cell
that.
for appropriate reasons, and we learned that through an
With what? Which part? Hello? Oh my God, where'd she go? She left. She's back.
I accidentally hit the back button.
I'm like, where'd she go? Okay, so
I'm
what
sorry.
what part do you agree with?
That he is locked up for the right reasons as for his charges.
So what are they holding this guy on?
7 counts of child neglect for 2 different occasions.
child neglect, and do we know like what those charges are, like what that means in Virginia?
They're felonies.
Okay, so he's not going anywhere anytime
No,
soon. But people
no.
are worried because they're wondering if, because he was denied this lawyer, if that's going to screw things up, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So tell us what else we need to know from this point forward, cuz this is Monday. So have we had any
So
updates between, I mean, is there anything that anything else that we need to know?
other than less than an hour, well, about an hour and a half ago now, it's been updated that it's been 3 months that they believe since he was last seen.
Okay, so why do they think that? Did they say?
I'm not really sure because I didn't see that before I got on here. I saw it at the last minute.
Okay, so where was that at? Because I can pull it up.
I put it in, it should be on Wavy 10, I believe, but I also put it in Slack
Okay, let me look.
right before I sent that last video.
All right, let me look. Oh, police expand timeline back to November.
Yes.
Okay, so what hang on. All right, let me pull that up. But before we watch this, can you tell me about the jacket and like what that's all about? Because I have no idea. So like
So,
take us back to the searches. What was found? What do we know about the searches?
so a group of people came, a lot of people have been coming across a lot of different things. They've had one group come across some identifications for someone. They've had another group come across a little boy's blue hoodie. And don't quote me on this completely, but I believe they came across bones, but they're not sure if they're animal or not yet. So
Okay, so right now that's just purely speculation.
yes, that's purely speculation right now.
But what we
Um,
have here
but
is
what
a news
gets
report.
me,
What?
they say he was in Spider-Man flip-flops. Okay, and
Mhm.
the day that he went missing, they said there was snow on the ground. What 3-year-old goes out in the snow in the middle of the night with flip-flops on? Well, 4-year-old, I'm sorry.
So the flip flops were not found in the
No,
house.
no. It's what his dad said he was wearing at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, yeah. So tell me the circumstances of what Dad says happened.
Supposedly, dad said the last time he seen him was 2 a.m. It was between 12 and 2 a.m. was the last time he seen him. And then he woke up,
And
went,
what was the
look,
kid supposedly doing at between 12 and 2? Sleeping or?
yes, he was supposedly sleeping.
Okay.
And then he woke up in the morning. He didn't see him. And then I believe he had the cops at his house by 9 a.m. And from that point is when they started searching and knocking on doors and things like that.
So basically he basically is making it sound like the kid just disappeared
Yes.
at sometime after 2 a.m.
Yep. He just
But he
disappeared, either
had
walked out the door or
but
never
he
got
had
there.
sandals on.
But he had flip-flops on. Yes.
So he put him to bed in flip-flops?
That's
Is that
right.
what he's saying? Like he
No,
he
that's what
went.
he's saying. That's missing.
Oh, okay. So either the
Makes no
kid
sense, right?
was, yeah. So like either the child was sleeping in flip flops, or this man
He's seen
expects
him
police to believe that this child got up, put
and
flip
put,
flops on, and then tramped out into the snow.
yep,
Okay,
exactly.
horrible. Okay, let's watch this update. This, you guys, is from tonight, actually. Set bringing you the latest news.
Hampton
I
police
got
have
you.
tweeted out that they are looking for information on anyone who has seen the 4-year-old now as far back as November.
Codi was reported missing a little more than 2 weeks ago, but police need more information. If you know anything or have seen him in the past 3 months, call Hampton Police or the crime line.
Three freaking months.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Poor baby boy.
It's sad how all these kids keep going up missing, and they're like saying that it's only been days ago, but really it's been months and years at that part. And it's so heartbreaking.
Gosh, he's adorable.
I know.
Alexis, he's so cute. I know. People are just evil. It makes me sick.
I know.
So so now they're tracing the timeline back. So obviously they've got some kind of evidence that shows that he was not around.
Exactly. So if they have these evidence, where is it? What is it? Like, they're not sharing anything for anybody to know what they're looking for.
Okay, so you have one more video here. This is community activists demand answers.
All of the judges keep reclusing themselves from this as well. That just happened today as well, I believe.
What's up
It was
with
either
that?
it was this afternoon or it was yesterday. Sorry, I'm getting my days mixed up.
Well, it's a lot has happened, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's been insane. Like, sorry, it's just this case is all over the place.
It sounds like it. It sounds like there's like changes quite often.
Yes.
So thanks for keeping us up to date on the latest things. So this video here, the media.
Oh, the city council. Yes.
Yeah. Do we want to watch that now?
I mean, we can.
Okay, so give us a little preface on what this is about.
Okay, so it's a city council meeting. Everybody's in there doing their stuff. Hampton PD goes up to start speaking, and they have a group of protesters come in and protest the city council meeting for a Codi alert.
Oh shit. Okay. One question. They searched dumpsters. Did they find anything?
I'm not really sure. I don't think
You've heard
so.
of?
Not that I've heard of.
Okay, let's watch this.
Father reported him missing. Investigators have not said what happened to the 4-year-old. We've seen the community very invested in this high-profile case. And today, Governor Glenn Youngkin commented on the case.
What is most disappointing is that we really don't have any clarity. And so I just call everyone to continue to provide every effort and every resource we have. Because when a child goes missing, it is the saddest thing we can possibly imagine.
But there is growing criticism. During a Hampton City Council meeting last night, some speakers asked the mayor and council why they aren't searching. A small group of activists pushed the boundaries. Allison Basil spoke with city council members about the tension. She's live for us tonight at Hampton City Hall. Allison.
Yeah, David, early in the meeting, Police Chief Mark Talbot tried to bring city council members up to speed on the search for Codi, but that update was quickly interrupted by a bullhorn and a frenzy of people shouting from the audience.
Yikes.
A formal city council meeting spiraling into chaos.
We've been out here for 9 days straight. Why you want to sit here and call somebody a distraction? This is what you call a distraction.
Activists abruptly shouted while Hampton Police Chief Mark Talbot updated city council members on search efforts to find 4-year-old Codi Bigsby. Once those activists were removed, Chief Talbot assured council investigators are doing everything they can to find Codi.
We will leave no stone unturned. We haven't stopped since day one.
Last week, police said Codi's father, Corey Bigsby, reported his son missing. A few days later, police arrested Bigsby on unrelated child neglect charges. Speakers at the meeting asked council members why they aren't searching for Codi. Councilman Stephen Brown says his job is to support authorities.
My role as a council member is to empower and to provide resources for the professionals.
Brown says the outburst at City Hall pushed the envelope.
It took the spotlight off of Codi and put the spotlight on the organization who was getting rowdy and making the loudest noise.
Vice Mayor Jimmy Gray says his colleagues may have to rethink meeting procedures moving forward.
We certainly don't want to restrict anybody's right, but I think last night was a little bit over the top.
However, Brown says he's grateful to see so many people passing out flyers and sharing information.
And I'm proud of my community, and I'm proud of all of those who are searching for the young man and certainly prayers have gone up for him.
And during his update, Chief Talbot also told city council members that he is thankful for all of the community members that have reached out and offered to help search. Live in Hampton, Allison Back.
Okay, I have thoughts on this.
Yes.
Okay, so my thoughts are, as over the top that may seem,
it's what was needed.
What I think this was bound to happen, these
Yep.
types of things, because people have lost faith in law enforcement.
Yes.
If you remember, and we've all been through COVID since those riots broke out right at the beginning of COVID. It was
Yes.
horrible. And I think that was when like the George Floyd thing happened and all these other things that we saw happen that made everyone question
Yep.
law enforcement. And
I
now
know.
we have
Yes.
missing children and, you know, they're coming out and they're owning their mistake. But then on the other hand, no one's cutting them a break for owning it. So I think there's going to be a point where we have to meet in the middle because,
Now,
you know what I'm
the
saying? The
hold
community
on.
has to understand as well that law enforcement needs to keep shit under wraps. That's why it's called an investigation. Like, not everything can be live. And it's great
Yes.
that people go out and they stream live what they're doing. But you've got to remember, like, look at like Gonzo, who searches for, you know, missing people. Never talks about it, never shows his footage, but he's out there looking. I think some things have to be under wraps. And if law enforcement doesn't keep those things under wraps, who's going to?
Now, as much as I agree with you 100%, okay, you got to think that bullhorning and protest happened before they came out and owned up to what they did.
Mm. Okay, so their stance at that point was that they were doing all they could.
Yes.
Maybe this chief or whoever he is wasn't aware of it yet. I don't know. I don't know the whole story, but I do think that in some instances, I do think that the public does overstep sometimes.
Oh, yes.
And can muddy the waters for investigators. Now, they may not be out searching where everybody else thinks they should be. Maybe they have something out of that 100 hours and they're searching over here and no one even knows. I mean,
and I
we
agree with
don't
that
know.
too.
I just think we have to be fair.
But the problem is if they want to be fair, they need to let people know to understand. Like, hey, we're doing this over here.
But they can't
But we
always
still
do that.
need you guys to do this.
Think about Summer Wells. Think about when EquiSearch came and they said, we don't want any press. We want no one to know where we're going.
Yeah, but if they feel so confident about who they have behind bars right now, it shouldn't be an issue.
I don't know. I just feel like if they're looking for a child that they believe is deceased and they're looking for a body, they just can't reveal everything. They can't.
Yeah,
and
I know.
We never will. And they never will. And
I know.
I think that as the public, we need to accept that sometimes. I'm not saying all the time, you know, but we have to trust. And I can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. If I don't believe in law enforcement, I think I will feel like my world is chaos. And I
agree.
I can't go there because I do believe in law enforcement and I do believe that our FBI.
I do too. I bleed blue, but I also will tell somebody when they're wrong.
But I think now we see on the billboard and all those signs that said FBI to call the FBI. So if the FBI has taken precedence, I have full faith in our FBI. I do.
If they did.
And I think that's what we saw in the Gabby case, right?
Yeah, yes,
Northport
absolutely.
bumbled
As soon
it
as
up.
FBI took it over,
Yes.
everything was smooth from there.
And look at the report we got. We all thought they just found like part of a jaw, right?
I know.
They didn't tell us.
No, they didn't tell anything.
They couldn't for whatever reason. But that report, look, I mean, they found a good portion of that kid's body. I was shocked at how many bones they found.
So was I.
And I just think we need to keep that in mind, that these guys are working hard, and these guys come on scenes that can't even imagine. I bet. I mean, finding deceased children that have been, laying out in vegetation it's horrific. And I don't want to focus on the negative. I do want to recognize that they made a huge mistake, and I think everybody needs to be aware of it. And I think they're owning it, and they're on the spot now, because now there's a 4-year-old.
Agree.
They need to find him, and they need to find him now. So, like, go back to that cold case we just watched. When that cop said, we got to find, they found her body, he told all his officers, his detectives, find someone and arrest him now. So the heat's on now. So
it is.
So I agree with you that it's great, but I think we need to cut the guy some slack, because he knew about it. He didn't cover it up. He owned it, and now they're in the hot seat.
I think if he didn't go in there so hot-headed, it probably would have been a different outcome.
It could be, but we are all human.
Yes,
and
I agree.
Ultimately, let's not lose let's not lose focus, though. We wouldn't even be dealing with these cops if this piece of shit took care of his kids.
You're absolutely right.
So let's not let them detract us from the culprit here. Right?
Let's find Codi.
Yes, and let's put the dad in the hot seat, and whoever else lived in that house.
Yes.
Who else was there? Do we know?
So this one is a hard one, because some people say that there was a live-in girlfriend, but from one of the press conferences I watched, in the press conference, he states that there was nobody but him and the children in the house. But other people keep stating there was a live-in girlfriend. So that is some contradicting things that are going on that still need to come to a head.
See, so maybe they know more about her, and maybe they're getting information from her. Who knows?
Yes.
So let's hope that someone's gonna break. Because do we know anything about this girl, or just that she may have existed?
That she may have existed. That's about it.
So lots of questions and not a whole lot of answers. I didn't know anything about this case before tonight.
It is a hot mess.
Yeah, I'm glad you're following it, not me. I mean, it's so sad. But then you have this little cute baby boy that's just stuck right in the middle of this mess. You got political fights with cops, and now you got, political groups rioting, protesting.
It's not about that.
It's just.
It shouldn't be about that at all. It should be about Codi.
If all these people came together and put their forces into one, they could find that little boy.
Yep.
He's a doll.
Yes, I 100%. He's so cute. The little squishy face.
He's got those little puppy dog eyes. I don't know how anyone can hurt. I just don't know how anyone can hurt little babies. Where are the other children now? That's a good question.
They will not disclose where the other children are.
Okay.
And I did see somebody ask. Right? I did see somebody ask about mom in chat. As far as we know, mom's a go-go girl out of DC and wants nothing to do with her children.
Well, Codi's how old? 3?
4.
4.
He's 4. He just turned 4 in January, I believe.
How long were they out of her life?
So there's been conflicting stories with that as well. He said his sister says that she just dropped off the kids one day and just left. And then she states she dropped them off for a week and he moved and never told them where they were.
Good Lord. It's just that kid is a victim of society. It's so sad.
And you know what? It really irked me about the mom. So apparently when everybody found out about what had happened and that he was missing, she got a phone call, I guess, that morning. She didn't show up until 10 o'clock at night. Now, I used to live in Hampton. DC is only 2 hours away 3, give or take, okay? It shouldn't have taken that long for her to get her ass in the car and get down there to where her kid is missing.
That
Just
girl
my
said, "Hey, J for J, remember this is a Commonwealth. The Secret Service is on this case because of Commonwealth status." What does that mean?
Oh,
I'm not familiar with that.
I don't know. I'm not too.
I don't know what that means. Green Eyed PI lives right there, though, too. She's like 10 minutes from there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these people just create children and then just dump them on whomever.
Yeah.
And just go on about their lives. Don't
Pretty
understand
much.
it.
So dad actually has, I want to say 8 children altogether. He's got 4 older ones that are adults, and then he's got the twins that are 2, Codi, who was 4, and then they had a 5-year-old as well.
There was twins?
Yes, 2-year-old twins.
Oh
That he
my God.
he just up and left.
Okay, so Ashley Oakes said, "We don't know mom is a go-go dancer." That was said by his sister.
And I stated that.
Okay, so, and then Amber said, "I think we are getting biased stories from some of these people, not facts." Okay, Vet Girl. So it is considered a Commonwealth and not a state federal jurisdiction. Virginia is a Commonwealth state. I don't even know what that means.
Shell, I understand why a lot of people in the chat are saying the sister is sus, because I do agree with that as well. Like, I guess there's this chick who said she had seen Codi and a girl with braided long hair and with rope braids and in Starbucks. And they were having them pull those videos, but nobody has said anything about them. But everybody's been suspicious because she swears up and down it was the sister that she had seen that Sunday.
But how do we know
So
that
I
law
agree.
enforcement hasn't gotten the videos?
No, I agree. They apparently do have those, but they haven't released them on whether or not.
Yeah, they're not going to.
I don't think they will either.
They never do. It's part of their investigation. We won't know any of that.
Yep.
I mean, especially if the sister's running around right now, they're not going to let, if it was her, they're not going to definitely let her know they know that.
Oh, I agree. So
Green Eyed PI says that was debunked.
It was debunked? Okay.
But then Happy Girl said she had receipts. She was there. I don't know. This is all hearsay,
Yes.
you guys.
There was this whole argument of things with that, with a bunch of people, like the chick that says that she was her, says she will testify in front of people. It was pretty interesting.
Oh my gosh. There seems like there's a lot of things. Look at this.
Yes.
Mom of 4 says, "I thought mom was special military and her identity can't be public." Not sure if that's true. That cannot be true. I'm sorry.
I don't know. That's not true. I can say that myself. That's not true.
I don't think someone who's special military, whose identity is like, needs to be secret, would be neglecting her children and getting away with it. So are you,
no.
Kurt Crud. Go clean the crud from between your toes, dude. Get out. Nice name.
I missed it.
Yeah, who debunked it, Happy Girl? He said, "Y'all are mad annoying, Kurt Crud." Kurt Crud got crud between his toes.
Bye.
Oh, they deleted it. I pinned it. Well, who says that?
I see it.
Who's 21 years out of the military? The father?
Yes.
Okay, 21 years is a long time ago. And
no, he was in for 21 years. He's a retired vet in the Army.
He was in the Army for 21 years?
Yes. And that's why a lot of other people have their suspicions on whether or not he's telling the truth or not, because people are like, oh, he could be suffering from PTSD and he could be not remembering this stuff, or he is remembering this stuff, and he can just not crack and tell you guys, and they don't realize that that's not how that goes.
No, I wasn't saying anything about you, Rose. I just didn't know. I'm just like, God, there's just so many things like coming from every direction. Like, I had no idea this guy was military. What else?
Yeah.
What else do we need to know about?
He just bought a house in January as well.
He bought a home.
Yeah, he just bought a home in January.
So he's on the deed. Did you guys look it up?
Yes, I looked it up. It's in Slack. It shows.
Is it only in his name?
Yes, it's in his name. They just updated the files for that.
Is there drug use history? Any?
Not that I know about drug use, but I do know that when he was in the Army, he was charged with AWOL, but he did his time, obviously. So before anybody jumps down with that one, I know the military life pretty well.
Yeah, there is a lot of stories out there. I agree.
Yes, there's
this is
so many.
First time I'm hearing all this stuff, and I'm just like, wow. I mean, from the cops to the parents to the mother to
the aunt.
Yeah, to like leaving these kids alone. Like, so someone in chat said he left them alone at 2 a.m.
Which is
where
they're
do we
trying to
know?
claim. They don't. Okay, so that isn't like specific with him leaving at 2 a.m. They haven't come out and said how he doesn't know that with him being abducted. He says he was sleeping then, to be honest with you. But somebody else has put it out there that he went out. So I don't think they really know unless he's physically said something.
Well, if he went out and someone comes forward and said they were with him or they saw him, then he's toast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which let's hope they get some answers soon.
Yes. So anybody see something, say something.
Yeah,
please.
and it looks like, let me pull that up. Because the FBI, that is definitely good news. Did they do an Amber Alert on him?
No, they did not. They said he didn't meet criteria for Amber Alert.
Yeah.
That's why they're also trying to push for this new alert called the Codi alert.
Okay, so tell us what does that entail?
It's pretty much for those kids like that don't meet the criteria for the Amber Alert to get some kind of alert out there stating that this child is missing.
Look at him. His was at a bounce house.
He's so cute.
He looks like he looks cared for. He
does.
He's not skinny. He looks, well
Yeah,
nourished.
he doesn't look malnourished.
Clean. No, it's so sad. Okay, so here you go, you guys. If anybody has any, wow, they even have, wait, let me get rid of this comment so you can see it. Down at the bottom, it says find evidence 757-727-6111. They know that the community is out there hard.
Yes, the community is out there hard. I praise every one of them. They're doing amazing. Keep going. See something, say something.
Says, do you live near Buck Row Point Apartments? Do you have any home cameras? Have you seen Codi in the past 3 months? When and where? 1-800-CALL-FBI. Online at p3tips.com.
Yes, please. Let's bring this baby home.
Do we know who gave these pictures? That's a good question.
I believe that those pictures are taken off
social media.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's the home.
That's the home.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, you guys did your due diligence on this one. That kid is just so cute. I can't get over it. All right, you guys, if you know anything about Codi Bigsby, reach out to the FBI or go online. Judy McNamara, you're going to have to be kind of rewind.
Yes, please.
So is there anything else that you wanted to bring to light before we close this up? We've been about an hour and 15, which is, I think, perfect for replay.
Nope. I think I'm good.
Thank you so much for all of your research and coming on and, telling us all.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Keep us up to speed. We'll have to do it again.
Absolutely. When I know more stuff, I will let you know.
Yes, for sure. All right. Thank you, Datset. You guys give Datset lots of love for coming on.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye, girl. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Much love to the Datset for coming on tonight. If you guys have any cold cases that you want us to cover from your state, please send them to the J4J team. The mods will put it in chat. But again, if you know anything or you live in this area and you may have some kind of camera or footage, or you were somewhere and you think you may have seen this little boy, I think any tips, it looks like they really want tips. So thank you guys in chat for totally joining in on this and caring for this little boy and keeping him on the forefront. Datset, you did wonderful. You did wonderful. Thank you, Shell, for putting that up in chat. Thank you guys for being here. Hey, Scott H. Vet girl. All right, you guys. So tomorrow's Friday. I have lots of updates tomorrow. So get your coffee pots programmed tonight because we have a lot of things to go over tomorrow. I'm not joking. It's a lot. We've had a lot of movement, especially down here in Florida this week. There's been a lot of news. So get your coffee pots programmed, and I will see my Roberters in the morning.
I don't give a damn. I don't really care about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. You talk way too much. I have heard enough about you and your problems. I don't give a damn. 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 You wanna be with me. You wanna feel something real, but I'm feeling differently. You're making plans to get to France, but don't wanna face the fact that I ain't got time for that. Staying up late.